During my summers growing up in Mexico, my uncle would have these wood crates from local fruit markets, and we would build these little tiny homes and spaces in the outdoor, and that's when I knew I want to build spaces, I want to create these scenes. I am so thankful I stayed so proactive, and my networking with peers, with instructors back in school, that really helped me so much. I had a few internships before graduating, from engineering firms to architecture firms and even interior design offices, that led me to landing my first full-time job with a publishing company, Playboy. And not knowing what this would lead to, it was honestly a great experience, the one that set the tone and really opened my eyes to what an interior designer can do in this industry, from tapping into the graphics in this industry, fashion design, architectural interiors, right? It just allowed me to just be creative, be bold, and pretty much tap into this diverse industry that we're in. My design style is very animated. It's very bold, with a little bit of typography always embedded into my projects, a little bit of geometric layering, lots of texture. Again, something to keep an interesting background for people to always have some interest, right? And have something that they remember. My personal style is very minimalistic, raw, black and white, although I keep it very monochromatic. My interiors, that's where I really insert the pop of color, right? Back at home, picture yourself behind the scenes in a film studio or a warehouse where everything is just, you know, the rawness of the white or black brick, black metal accents. The Chicago Vienna Beef hot dog posters, these are really true, close to my heart. It's an illustration that's bold, it's larger than life, it's very comical. It's just enough to remind me not to take myself so serious. So my design process starts with a logo or a brand identity, if there is one. From there, I start dissecting that to be able to give me that palette, right? Build on my color palette. What finishes am I gonna look for? Any specific graphics or patterns, right? To start building that story, that mood for the client, depending on the space that I'm working with. My source of inspiration are my books, well-illustrated art. They always have such beautiful graphics, geometry, colors that I could use to build on for my storyboards. My day-to-day, it's always pan and cafecito. That will really set the mood, followed by, I do half day of computer since I'm pretty hands-on, whether it's drafting, doing renderings, or putting on together presentations. Then I do a cut, and I disconnect a little bit and do a little bit of scavenger hunting, whether it's finishes, looking for awesome pieces of furniture, looking at what the competition is doing or whatnot, whether it's retail spaces, hotels, and other boutique interiors, just anything that will get me inspired. Some of my current projects are some great, exciting things happening right now, from working on these high-end pastry shops. Be ready for those. It's so great. New experience in the brunch industry, really elevating that for our guests to really have something that's a little bit more upbeat. I don't feel fads exist. I feel that design, since it's very personal, right? It's all based on personal preference. There's certain customers or certain brands that just have a specific style, right? Where some may see it as a trend. To them, they adapt it and they run with it and they keep that consistency that's why customers seek them, right? So I feel like if you just embrace it and run with it, that's your thing, that's your style. Tile overload. There's no such thing as tile overload or graphics. You need to have these great layers and textures, right? Something that's always behind every guest and every user is the background. So you have to give them something interesting to talk about, something for them to look back and identify these spaces with. Lighting is key. It makes or breaks a space. Whether you have, amazing finishes, artwork, you have to look into the color temperatures, having the right lighting, omitting it where it's not necessary. The lighting for me is just the first thing that I look at. Greens and yellows are the ones that do it for me. They're very bold, very upbeat. You sprinkle it anywhere and it's enough to just give it that pop and make it a nice, bold, brighter place. My trick to starting a design process or just with my design approach is always look at the logo, that brand. If you are stuck and you don't know where to build a palette or again a color story, always dissect that. That will give you the answers, whether it has again cool geometry, a color, a pattern or whatnot. Start there with the brand identity. My pet peeve for interiors is monitors, TVs, sound systems that are larger than life. Omit them. Over the next decade, I truly feel interiors will be a lot more engaging and holistic. We have interior designers that are getting engaged into the process from the early on stages, from either mechanical, lighting, back of house or whatnot, the graphics, the brand identity. So in the next decade, in the next years, you're gonna see interiors that are just very engaging, very holistic, complete, very visually stunning projects. My dream space to design would be an auto mechanic, an auto body shop. Turn it into a cafe, bed and breakfast, design incubator for the community that it's in. My favorite part of my profession is truly building these storyboards. The presentations for my clients is, again, where like in a movie, I'm developing that script, right, of what that story is, what the pitch is gonna be all about. So that's truly something that I really enjoy, is that moment, like, wow, I'm gonna unveil this story to you. What makes our studio unique is very hands-on from myself. Again, it's computer time to scavenger hunting for finishes, being at the job sites, doing some labor work as well. I get very invested, both physically, emotionally, creatively, right? So we're just hands-on from the beginning to the very end till you open the doors. For me, to remain sustainable in this industry is to salvage, trying to eliminate as many construction waste. So we always attack a project, whether it's a renovation or new construction, into what can we salvage? What does the client already have? What do we have in our surroundings? Or can we source that's locally, that's already there, readily available? So we could just continue using that in the space. And again, just salvage. During the pandemic, it's been very tough. We all know we have to stretch the dollar. It's been very crazy with delivery times. So we do our best to work with local sources that we have around us, right? Creativity at its best by using the resources that are readily available to create something that looks fully custom. My advice to any starting designer would be practice never makes perfect. We are in this industry that's ever so changing, that we call it a practice for a reason. Every client will change, every scenario will change. So the sooner you get started and just adapt your creativity to keep expanding on those skills, the better, because that's when you really truly get that experience to work on these solutions, right? After you've had tons and numerous of scenarios working at different job sites. So practice is key, but it will take time. My favorite areas to use tile is on the exteriors and restrooms. First impressions are everything, right? Something that is so memorable for us. And always restrooms, it's those little surprise moments that give you this little peekaboo that gives you something to talk about, and going into the next space or next place you visit to look for something like that, to keep it interesting. I heard about Roca through my building crews, my on-site crews. It's like they say, when you want to know where to get the good stuff or best places to eat, talk to your taxi or cab drivers, see where they're at. They always know where are the best places to resource any finishes from. What I love about Roca products is their versatility, the immense amount of options that are available. It's like your Lego product, right? There's so many options, so many sizes, so many variations, whether it's readily available or custom. I could keep using their product into numerous projects, the same tile on, and it always looks like a specialty product that was specifically made for that client, for that project.